Episode 10. Get the facts. Live. Episode 10. Get the facts with Folan. Guys, if you're just joining the series, welcome. Excited to have you all. This has been such a fun way to still, fuel my feed, I guess. Is that the right way? Hit my spot for wanting to travel. It sucks that all the borders are closed. I think that's the wrong saying. But today, we are taking you back to the Middle East. Have we been there before? I don't remember. I don't think so. We're going to the Middle East. I'm stoked. Got a buddy that I met while I was in Montenegro, headed to Qatar. And excited. This is a country I've never been to. He's been living there for a bit. Mom, how are you? Just write your comment. Hi, Brent. Glad you're joining us. And let's get Luke in here. Let's go, baby. Yes.
Yes, mate. How you going?
How's it going, man?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Was it working all right?
It is. You're a little blurry, but it when we just talked, it settles out hopefully quickly. Man, introduce yourself. Tell everybody where you are. And
you got it?
Uh-oh.
God.
Spitting on your face, but I can still hear you. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. What's happening, all right?
Luke, introduce yourself. Where are you? Where are you coming live from right now?
I'm coming live from Qatar, like in the Gulf states here, in the Middle East. So it's almost summertime now. So it's kicking off into the almost 30 degrees now Celsius. So something like 85, 90 Fahrenheit for those in the North American places. So yeah.
Heck yeah. And you are just outside of Doha, you said, correct?
Yeah, I'm in a suburb called Al Qisa, which is near a place called Festival City, which is about 20 minutes outside the city, probably about 40 minutes away from the airport.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you've been living there, you said, for how long? You're teaching English there, correct?
Yeah, I'm teaching some English out here, so I'm doing since August, and I was in Dubai when we met. We're meeting when I was living in Dubai there.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
You could possibly get this job. Yeah. So guys, real quick, background on how we met. This was way back when, 2018, in Eastern Europe, Montenegro. One of the best hostels in the world, Bar Montenegro. This place called The Grove. Unfreaking real hostel. Great people. The owners have mastered it. It's one of the few places you get a full bed rather than a twin. And they cook dinner for you every night for €5. Home cooked meals when you're on the road for a while. It's great. Yeah. And then a few months after that, we met up again in Melbourne, Australia. So it's been fun linking up.
Yeah.
We just missed each other. He was supposed to go to Bangladesh. It would have been fun to meet up there in Nepal. We're just switching spots around the world. So it's been fun keeping up with your travels, man. How many countries? You're quite the world traveler as well. How many countries have you been to now? Oh, dang it. There we go.
Someone tried to call me, sorry. So I've been traveling for about 7 years, and I'm chasing you now. You're on just over 100, I believe. Or
103,
like
exactly.
I'm on 66, and so I'm hoping that by the end of next year, like end of 2021, I'll be somewhere like in the high 80s.
Awesome.
Something like this. But really trying to get some of those other ones knocked off, which are a little bit harder for me to get to, like Eritrea and Djibouti, Ethiopia, maybe like Benin for the Voodoo Festival or something like this. Like that'd be awesome.
Yeah, you're in a unique spot of the world to really knock out some of those tough countries, which you have. I mean, it's been fun travels. Yeah. But let's get that. We'll get that here in a second. First off, what's Qatar like now with COVID-19? How's the country dealing with it all?
The government sort of keeps some things under wraps, like not willing to share too much. But it is like there is pretty strict restrictions now, like all the gyms, all restaurants, cafes, everything's pretty closed. Even some of the public areas now are closed. Like they really want people to be isolating themselves, staying at home. They really want people not to panic though, so nobody's panic buying, it seems, which is really good. Like all the grocery stores are open, like nobody's buying like toilet paper, like mass loads of it, or pasta or anything like this. Like you can just go to the shelf and just shop normally. But like there's extra things that have been brought in, like so you have every time you go to the shops, like there's guys cleaning all the trolleys and cleaning all the pathways and all the handrails and stuff like that. Like every half an hour, I think it is. Like they've been told to clean up everything and all the time. So, but I think some people are still meeting in public and having parties and stuff like that in local areas. So I think it looks like people are like, I think they might be trying to introduce like some sort of actual lockdown where people have to stay in their homes for like 2 or 3, 4 days or something like this.
Yeah.
Because I know my friend in Dubai, she sent me a message and she said like, hey, like we're going on lockdown for about 4 days. Like nobody's allowed outside. So yeah, if you look at Dubai traffic, it's hectic. The same with Qatar traffic, but all the roads are, in Dubai are really empty. And then I think somebody just told me today that they're thinking about doing some sort of lockdown as well, where people aren't allowed outside their compounds or homes or something like
wow,
this.
Yeah.
So it's pretty.
Are they still accepting? Like, are flights still coming in? Are international international travels allowed in, or they closed the borders to that sense?
I'm pretty sure they've closed all the borders. Like, your Qatari citizens, like actual nationals, I think they're allowed in.
Okay.
But they have to be quarantined for at least 2 weeks, it looks like. But I think most other nationalities, once you've left, you can't come back in.
Wow.
Until they lower that restriction, and then I think they're still allowing people to transit through Qatar. Like, so if you've got a flight from England to Australia or something like this, you're still allowed to transit through, it looks like.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah. Because that was the thing that's so interesting with Singapore, was once they shut down their transit, that's when we realized it's getting pretty serious in Singapore. I mean, as soon as people weren't able to go through here, that's nuts. So what? So okay, so not too many, entertainment side of Qatar. I mean, is every day-to-day life, are you still teaching? Is your school open, or have they closed down?
So next week is the last week of school before the Easter holidays.
Okay.
But we're still doing online teaching, basically. So they're, you're still uploading work and giving like digital sort of like online feedback to kids and things like that. So that's still happening on that front of things. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to do. Like, I just go for a run, like every day, a couple of runs, do some skipping, like just try and do any sort of old exercise. Like I don't want to be uploading any workouts, like home workouts. There's probably enough people doing that already, isn't there?
I tell you what, that industry is growing very quickly.
The
Instagram lives with the workouts, as well as the TikTok, all the TikTok madness going on.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe yours will take off, man. Not many people get, viral videos from Qatar. Who knows?
Maybe I'll get some sponsors. I'll get some sponsors in like.
Yeah, exactly. So then, just so for the viewers to know, you're originally from Australia, but you're currently in Qatar, and so you just gonna wait it out. I mean, how long does your visa last in Qatar? Is there an end date on that?
Well, no, because I've got a residence permit. Like it's got like an ID card, so I get to stay like
indefinitely. Just can't leave the country.
The card is 2 years, so like I can just stay if I want. But so I think most people in Qatar have taken that sort of route. So I've got some British friends who are just sort of saying, look, it's probably safer to stay here than it is to go back to England. Like England's on the rise still, I guess, with stuff like that. And it looks like one of my friends who's in a pharmacy, like works in a pharmacy in England, she's just joined.
Oh, nice.
She So she was saying like people are really, it's getting like it's getting a bit crazy over in England for sure. So
we're gonna have an episode coming up in England next week. Just like the United States, it's unfortunately booming in numbers, and I'm hoping they can get the hang of it sooner rather than later. I mean, for guys like you and I, these borders, of course we want the world to be taken care of. We want this virus to disappear, but the sooner these borders open, the better, because then we get back to our travel schedules. It's I'm okay with sitting in quarantine. I'm okay sitting it out. I'm okay with staying at home, but hopefully all these governments can get it together and get it under control, just so we can get back to some sort of normalcy. So
for sure, yeah.
Well, man, let's dive into life in Qatar, traveling Qatar, because not many people go there. For those of you who don't know, Qatar hosts the next World Cup coming up in a few years, which is pretty exciting, or a couple of years, I guess. And so, what are the top 3 things that you think people need to see in Qatar?
I think there's a place called like a lot of places are called they call like souks. You might know that people might know that more as a bazaar, like the ones in Turkey.
Okay.
And there's one called Souk Waqif or Souk Waqif, however you want to pronounce it. And that's like a pretty traditional marketplace. Like it hasn't really, like if you go to souks in Dubai, it's and it's like walking to a shopping mall. Like it's not it's not anything.
Yeah.
Like it's the shopping mall. But the one in Qatar is really good because it hasn't been changed in about, I think it was like 60 or 70 years. And so it's almost, I think that some of the buildings are revamped, but it's certainly very traditional. You've got local guys and girls walking around. You've got like animals there. We've got Turkish and Lebanese and Indian food places, and we've got like a little bazaar marketplace as well. You've got a falconry place. Like falconry is really big out here. A lot of the local men will own falcons.
Literally, like bird falcons. Called falconry. Interesting.
Falconry, yeah. And at the souk, there's a falconry place, and you can walk in there and you can see guys trying to train the falcons and like trying to establish a relationship between the falcons and.
Well, can you buy? You can buy these falcons. You
can. Oh, yeah, you can. And I think it's really expensive. Like, depends on how well the bird is trained, and like you can pay up towards. I think like this would be a rough guess, but I think you can pay up to something like $50,000 American for a falcon.
For a bird.
For a really well trained one, yeah. Like I was on a plane from Dubai to Bahrain, and a guy had a box because you can't cage falcons, so he had a box on a seat, and the bird was riding in that seat as he was sitting next to it. So it's the first time I've been on a plane with a falcon, and like the poor guy in front of the falcon. Every now and then, the falcon just wants to because they wear those masks to cover their eyes to keep them calm.
Yes,
It just stretches its wings. So every now and then, you just see this bird like flapping about, and this poor guy sitting in front of it is just getting like smacked in the head by this bloody wing. Like so.
No, so what are they training these birds? Like, here's what I imagine: you walk into a store, and just like a hat shop or a shoe shop, they've got these falcons on the wall. Based on how much I mean, I'm assuming there's guys holding them.
Oh, so there's these like conical things which come up, and it's like a conical thing, and they're all on the ground, and they all the birds are sitting there, and so you can actually walk in and you just have a look at the falcons. And it was rumored in Dubai that you could buy one for about like 100 English pounds, but it's like a baby bird which is untrained, and then you have to spend time with that bird. But
what are you training these birds? I mean, are they like passenger pigeons? They're gonna fly notes to your buddies down the road. Like, what do you do?
Oh, so they do hunting with them. Okay. So they take them out in the desert, and they hunt small animals like rabbits, I think it is, and stuff like that. So and you can actually watch. It was on TV. I was in the gym probably a month ago before the lockdowns stuff came out, and I ended up stopping my workout for about 20 minutes because bloody falconry was on the TV. I'd never seen it before, actually done as a sport. So I just, after that, just went home. I just stopped that workout.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And they swing these big. Yeah, it's crazy. But
that is what. Okay, so that market, absolutely. So that's number one. Need to see it in Qatar.
Yeah.
What else? What are other hot spots?
There's a place you got to go out to the desert and get some tents. Like you can go to any old supermarket really. Like they've got hypermarkets here which are just massive, grocery and household shops basically. Buy a tent and just go out to the desert. Get a driver, go out there and camp in the desert. You can see a lot of stars out there. It's open. It's just open land, isn't it? There's a place here called there's a place out in the desert here called Film City. It's where they filmed the start of Transformers 1. Where they so you can go out that way, and near that area is a place called Mystery Village, and that's I did some camping out there a few weeks ago, and that was an awesome time out there. Create your own fires. There's no one out there. Nobody's monitoring. There's nobody monitoring what you're doing.
How far of a drive would you need to get a rental car? How far out of Doha do you need to get?
It's probably just over an hour at least, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tiny country. right? It's really not that
Yeah,
big.
and you can rent a car. Like I'd suggest that you rent a 4-wheel drive,
Okay.
but it's definitely worth getting out into the desert. And then I reckon the last place that you should definitely get to is if you like something a little bit fancier. It's certainly worth a see. There's a place here called the Pearl, and
Pearl.
it's like it's if you look it up on a map, it sort of comes off the
Check it.
peninsula,
Yeah.
and it's like this like horseshoe type shape which is connected by other roads, and it's a man-made island, and
Ah, I
um,
think I've seen photos of this. It's insane.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Um,
okay. So I've got a question. So I think you know where I'm going to go with this. This reminds me
yeah,
so much of Dubai. I mean, how different
yeah,
is Qatar from the
it's
UAE? Because I mean, this is clearly it's man-made, right? I mean, the Middle East
yeah,
have
yeah.
mastered, getting land back, reclaiming land, and building the most insane structures ever. I mean, how
Yeah,
different
yeah.
is Qatar, specifically Doha, from Dubai?
Um, it depends. Like, it is quite different in a sense because it's a bit underdeveloped still. Like, it's probably about
Okay,
10 years, I would say, behind Dubai. Like,
okay.
10, maybe 15
So you're
years
not going to get the
behind as
malls
far as
with the
like.
skiing inside, but
They've got one here for that now. Like,
oh,
it's a smaller scale. Like,
yeah,
in Qatar here, we've got a mall called the Village, and this is sort of built to resemble much like Venice. And there's a canal that runs through, and you can ride a little gondola in the mall, and stuff like that. So
okay.
that does exist. Yeah, yeah. But I
So they
mean, it depends on how you define like different like some might argue that Qatar is a little bit more conservative, like
yeah.
that's just their way, maybe. Um, but then other people might not say that, so it's hard to say. But I would say the major difference is certainly that it is certainly behind as far as development's going, which is not it's not a bad thing. But I mean, they just started a bit later, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Not interesting. That is
so
wild. Yeah, that is for some reason that photo of the pearl has been popping up in my Instagram the last few days. So clearly they knew we must have been messaging. Instagram must have known you
yeah,
okay
yeah, yeah,
because for some
yeah.
reason it's been popping up a lot. Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
it's a sweet spot. Like you can do some running, like and chill in some cafes.
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice spot. Yeah, yeah.
So speaking of cafes, you mentioned a couple restaurants. What is the type of food? What's the go-to food, most popular food when you get to Qatar? Anything specific?
Oh no, like it depends on what you're really looking for. Like there's a lot of like the society's sort of made up with a lot more. I think the local people are about 300,000, where I think expats range with like 2.5 million or something. This like or
Jeez.
3 million
Wow.
people. Yeah, so there's a lot more expats here than local people. So it depends on what really you like. Like if you like Indian food, there is a ton of places that you can go. If you go to that Pearl area or something, it's like there is a ton of places which will serve you that. Like Lebanese food. Like I particularly like going and eating Lebanese food. Like
Best food in the world, in my opinion.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. Like and even when I went to Lebanon, like the food was amazing. So you know, so Lebanese food is definitely a must try. Like there's a lot of Turkish places like shawarma. Like I love a good shawarma here and there, like about
Heck yeah.
once, twice a week,
Yeah.
taking a shawarma. So Turkish, Indian, and Lebanese food I like. Qatari food tends to be quite expensive. Like
Oh,
so I
really?
haven't really tried. Yeah, like but some of the kids that I teach, their parents will make some and they'll bring it in. So like I've got no idea the name, but there's this Qatari yellow rice that they make, which is they do something which makes it yellow. I don't know what
Okay.
it is, but that's really good. But Arabic food is interesting, but certainly I think Lebanese food is like number one up there for sure. I
Yeah, yeah,
think.
yeah. So like specifically Qatar food, is there anything weird? I mean, you mentioned the yellow rice. Is there any weird dishes that you've seen passing by restaurants and be like, wow, I'm shocked that they eat that here?
Nah, nothing like that. Like
Okay.
it's not like you'd be going to like I've seen documentaries on the Chinese food that they've got there on the like street food in China where it's like scorpions and stuff like that. Like, nah,
Right.
it's nothing. It's nothing like that. Like it's all pretty like it's really taken care of. Like it's really well cooked and
Okay.
seasoned really well and stuff like that. Like nothing. Like you just can't get pork. Like it's against it's
Being a
against
Muslim.
Islam. yeah, being a Muslim, so they don't. There's only one place you can buy pork here, and you have to have a license for it.
Oh
But
wow.
you won't.
A
Yeah,
license to
like
sell it or a license to buy it?
a license to buy alcohol and pork. Yeah, there's one distributor here, so you have to pay about 50 British pounds for the license, and it lasts you 2 years, I think it is, and um, but then you can buy it
Is
there. But like a
Are they separate, one for pork, one for alcohol? Are they?
no,
Is it?
it's in the same place. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But you can still buy it in hotels and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want to go out, if you want to go out, you have to go to a hotel. Basically, it'll be like nightclubs or bars inside hotels, and that's where you
And
go.
how is it? Pretty expensive?
It can be like Singapore prices, my man. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah, like you're paying like 15 American dollars maybe for a beer or something like this in some places.
15
Or
bucks for a beer.
yeah,
My
yeah, yeah, something like this. So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
maybe shots are a little bit more expensive. Like
That is
so
wild.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
But
crazy.
it makes sense. I mean,
So
what's a Muslim country when there's
yeah,
practically monopoly when
that's
the place is selling it? Of course, they can gouge on pricing. I'm sure there's outrageous
yeah,
taxes by the government. So yeah, it's not very, very similar to Singapore.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what else do we need? What about stereotypes? Any stereotypes that you had, or even like what surprised you moving? What did you have in your mind when you moved to Qatar, and then what proved to be true? What proved to be false? What's changed since you've been there since you moved in November?
Um, so I think well, my journey in the Middle East started about 4 years ago, but
Yep.
certainly coming to Qatar, like I think there's a because of the media and stuff like that. I think there's a heavy stigma on the Middle East that it's a bad place and terrorism exists, and
Yeah.
which in some parts it certainly does for sure, but it's not. I think the biggest stereotype is not it's not as oppressive as people would say it would maybe make the case to be. Like
Yeah.
it's certainly you've got a lot of freedom. I do the same, if not more, things than I would back home. Um, and in some senses, having a monarchy can make it a bit easier. Like everyone has a public holiday today, no red tape, just take a day off. All right, cool, no worries, it's easy. like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
mm.
Ah,
so
interesting.
it's and so like and there's the other stereotype that it's probably more for a longer discussion, but like women certainly have a lot of rights here. Like Arabic women certainly have a lot of rights. Like in some areas, certainly probably in terms of relationships, forming relationships and more
Hmm.
intimate relationships. Um, and I don't know all the ins and outs, but I know
Yeah.
that's a bit of a tricky topic. But women have the same rights, if not probably the more rights than men, even in some area, in a lot of areas. Like there was a case in Dubai when I was living there, for instance, where a woman was getting divorced because I think from what if I remember correctly, she was getting divorced because her husband wasn't buying her the correct coffee that she liked. Um, there's probably more to that story than that was that was let on. Like, I've never heard of somebody getting divorced for that. Like, I think
That's been some horrible coffee.
get that Ethiopian coffee, you idiot. Like, but like yeah, so women are not forced to cover their hair. Like
They don't have to. Okay, interesting. So you can walk through the streets and you won't see women in hijab. They won't be covered.
yeah, no,
Okay.
and certainly Western women don't have to cover up. Like
Yeah.
it's a bit more lenient in Dubai. Like you got every sort of Western girl on a night out, whipping their ass out and stuff like that. Like it's not you can wear what you want on a night out, but like
Yeah.
going into certain areas like government buildings and museums, like you should dress a bit more conservatively, have your shoulders covered a bit, and
Right.
like clothing past your knees. Like that's what they require in those places. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think generally like there's different takes on it. Like I met a Tunisian girl who said like we don't have to cover up in Tunisia and we don't have to cover our hair and it's not part of how we worship Islam. Like we don't have to cover our hair. Whereas there's other people who would say that yes, it is part of Islam. So there's I've heard a few different stories, but from what besides Iran, I think Iran by law requires like the dictatorship there requires girls to cover up their hair, but
Right.
from my understanding is that women are not required to cover their hair if they don't want to. Like they might be asked by their father in turn, though, like hey, want you to cover your hair and things like that, and that might be
Right.
the case. But it's
But
I
by
think it's
law, they're not required to. So that
they're
so
not required to. Yeah.
I'm just going the number you said. So guys, if you're just tuning in, Luke's live from Qatar, coming to us from the Middle East. So it's mostly expats that make up this country. You said it's what 300,000 locals, and then was it one or over 2 million expats?
Yeah, I think that's the way it
Ballpark.
works. I think in Dubai, it's like about 1.5 million locals and about
Yeah.
like 6 or 7 million expats.
Okay.
I think in Qatar it's about maybe 400,000 locals and then about 2 million or 2.5 million expats. Like so, people building, teachers, doctors, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so most of these expats you've met, are they also Middle Eastern? Are they from all over the? I mean, where are the majority of
Yeah,
expats?
yeah. Like so, across the globe, like you've got Nepalese, you got Bangladesh, India, Australia, America,
Yeah.
like Europeans of all sorts. You've got yeah. So you've got all sorts of people. Whatever profession, like we back in Dubai, I met a Frenchman who worked in a bar, like he was making cocktails and stuff like that. Like it's like cool. Like
Interesting.
each their own. So people come out here for all sorts, like business ventures or travel or running away
So
from
it's quite,
something
so it's
or
quite easy to get a visa to work there if you want to.
I don't know what the process on that is. Like you have to usually get employed by a company who set
Got
that up for you.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like I think navigating that process would be hectic. Hectic. I wouldn't even know where to
Get
start with that. Like
get hired.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It'd be
Sure.
crazy.
Yeah, that surprises me, but I mean, it makes sense that so many foreigners would be there, a lot of expats. So what's been your favorite part of living in Qatar?
Um, I think it's a bit more of the freedom from the small little stresses in life. Like I don't have to pay I don't have to pay what is it? Like rent. I don't have to pay taxes. I don't have to pay for a driver's license. I don't have to pay bills. Um, I've got a bit in that sense. I've got a bit more freedom to do other things that I like, and I don't have to. Those things aren't in the back of my mind all the time.
Is this because
Um,
your company's covering for them? Like
what's that?
is it because your company like is your
Yeah,
company?
the company covers all that. Yeah, the company covers all
Okay.
that,
Just
which
to
is
clarify,
cool.
it's not free to live in Qatar. I just want to make sure that the viewers don't get
No,
confused.
no,
Like,
no.
oh, if
Yeah,
I go to
yeah.
Qatar, everything's free.
No,
Okay.
no, no. It's not free. It's not free. But I do like because like probably much like you, because we're both travelers. I like meeting different people of like different cultures. I pick up language. I can I'm not the greatest football player, but I mean I can pick up languages pretty quick. So
Yeah.
I like learning different languages, like speaking a bit of Bangla or Arabic or Hindi or I've met a couple of people from Assyria, like say Assyria, like you see that's that old, it's that very old, it's like the oldest language in the world, like about 6,000 years old. I think it's, and I can
Wow.
speak a little bit of Assyrian, which is
Yeah.
I think the Arabic people call it Ashuria, I think it's called, but um, so yeah, like and obviously the access to travel, which is really good, like it's really good, like certainly the Kazakhstan, the Kyrgyzstan areas and stuff like that. Like that's having access to those places, which is Azerbaijan, which is 3 hours away, Kazakhstan, which is 4.5 or 5 hours away. Like those places are sweet, like
And
to
you've
get to.
bounced around. You've been to those countries. You've been to most of the stands, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just
Okay.
Pakistan. I haven't been able to get to. It was a bit further away from the rest of them, but yeah, yeah. I've been to all those ones. Yeah, for sure.
Out of the stands, what was your favorite?
I liked. Oh man, they've all got cool things about them, but I think I liked the Uzbekistan the best. Like, I think it's the only double landlocked country in the world, but
Okay.
it was awesome. Like, it was, yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Okay, real quick, we've got a couple people. There's been multiple. Do you speak Arabic? Do you know any Arabic?
I can speak some Arabic. I can understand more than I can speak, but the problem with Arabic is that each country has their own dialect, and
Yeah.
so
Okay.
it's harder to understand. Like when I was in Lebanon, um, I was at a particular place, and I was saying "cam," like I was at the counter, and I was like "cam, cam, cam," like, which means like in Egyptian, as far as I believe, that means how much. and this woman's looking at me like, what is this idiot saying? Like, I don't even understand a word this guy's saying. And then luckily there was a girl staying next to me, and she was like, oh, we don't say that. Like, we say a dash in Lebanon. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
Got no idea.
yeah.
Like, yeah, so it's completely separate. But yeah, I've been to the UAE. I think the Lebanese dialect is probably the best Arabic, just because it's not as harsh. Like, it's not as harsh on hearing. Like,
Uh-huh.
just because, and then the Moroccan and the Algerian one is a bit harder because they've got a mix. They speak very fast, and they
Interesting.
mix French, as far as I believe,
Okay.
French and Arabic together,
Huh.
which is man, it's tough. It's tough to
That'll
hear.
make
Like,
that'll make it fun. Is okay.
yeah,
I know one important word in Arabic. It's yalla, 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 yalla. Do you guys say that in guitar? So in Lebanon, I learned that it's like go, go, go. Right. If you're in a hurry, you're in a taxi. Yalla will get.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yalla, like hurry up. Yeah, yeah,
in my opinion, I think that's the most important word in Arabic. If you learn one, learn yalla because it's
yalla. Oh,
universal. It'll get you to whatever someone's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a nice way to kind of say, let's hurry up, let's get this done. So
Yeah,
like,
like I say to some of the kids when they're coming in from break time, like we've got a couple of like I don't say it to all of them, but there's a couple of kids that I'm really good for, like that I know really well, and they're a bit chubby, and like so like after break time, like yalla yalla, like inside, like
get
it's
it,
like I
get
see
it.
you, it's like I see you running for the food when it's break time starts, and now you're like crawling back to class. It's like
Yeah,
yalla,
run it
like
back.
get on there,
Come on, baby.
get in, get inside, you little fatty, like.
Oh man,
So yeah. So
yalla,
yeah,
yalla.
there's a few words like a chub. Chub is a particular word I hear a lot, which means like, as far as I believe, it's quite a harsh way to say like shut up. Like
Ah,
so like you go here like so but like yeah. So when you listen to Arabic, you can hear some key words that you hear quite a lot, and then you can start putting the sentences together and what's been said sometimes. But then when someone comes in from like Jordan or like Tunisia, and they start speaking Arabic, and then they're completely separate words, then you're just
game
I've got no
changer.
idea
Yeah,
what's going on. Yeah, it's a game changer, like game changer. So yeah,
yeah. All right, so
but
I got.
gone.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I've got one final question for you. Well, we got a lot of people commenting. Do you like Qatar or the U? Okay, that's a good question. Which would you prefer, Qatar or the UAE, if you had to live in one for life?
Man, I don't know, like, 'cause UAE here has lots to do there. I think probably both places have lots to do. Um, but at the moment, I'm sort of quite liking Qatar, but just because it's still developing. It's still a bit grungy. Like in some areas, it's still a little bit grungy, and
Yeah. Uh-oh.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, cool.
we're back. Okay. Someone's call. Is that another phone call? Man in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
man.
cool. No, it just told me I got 20%. I got 20% battery life. That's what it just told me.
Ah, okay. Thanks, man.
Yeah, so we got time. We got time. Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
But I certainly do like the UAE. Like the UAE is a cool place. Like it's there's so much to do there, and the local people are extremely nice. Like they'll come up and talk to you. Like if you want them. Um, yeah. So yeah,
What's
I
so?
quite like the UAE as
I
well. Like the UAE. Yeah.
I tell you what. So Qatar is going to get a ton of media coverage here in the next couple of years. How's
Yeah.
the hype in the country for the World Cup? I mean, stadiums, I'm assuming, are getting built. Are the citizens excited to be hosting? Are they excited for even more expats, more foreigners to be coming into the country?
Yeah. There's lots of hotels. Lots of hotels going up, obviously, like in most places. But like the memorabilia stuff is already out, like and stuff like that. They've already had like Liverpool Football Club was over here, like I think it was about 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago.
Oh,
Like
neat.
a few teams are starting to play over here, like now and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, like it's things getting exciting for that. Like they're getting quite excited for that and stuff like that. Yeah, like
And so the World Cup versus the Olympics, right? So the World Cup,
mm,
it's spread out across the entire country. Olympics, one city. Like luckily I've been to both. Very different experiences, and of course it's just one sport, the
mm,
Olympics. Or I'm sorry, at the World Cup, Olympics, a ton of sports. But what's going to be interesting with Qatar is, yes, it's all over the country, but it's such a tiny country. You're going to be able to go to so many matches. If you get a rental car, right, you'll be able to make your way to probably whatever match you want to get to. Versus Russia, it was buying flights. I had buddies who took 24-hour train rides to get across the country.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's going to work out nice for the spectators.
Yeah, I think Qatar's done really well with they've been developing a metro system for the last, I think, 5-6 years, and all the stops stop either just outside the major tourist areas, and they stop right outside the stadiums. So it's been it's quite interesting to see. Like my friend's got a job with FIFA. Like he's going to be doing some reporting for FIFA.
Yeah.
Like he got the ID card and everything like that. So he's been able to go into some of the stadiums already and check out the facilities and stuff like that, which has been so yeah, it's been really.
I'm excited. I'm hoping,
cool, yeah.
Fingers crossed, I can make it there because Russia really set the bar high for the World Cup. So I'm sure Qatar will do that. Well, one final question for you.
Yeah.
And we'll end this. What's been your biggest surprise living in Qatar?
I think it like just like when I passed through about 5 years ago, they like it was really underdeveloped. Like there's still lots here. Like the Pearl area was here. Like one of the Pearl. There's 3 different areas for that. But I think one of the is that how much it has developed in just 5 years, and like and things like that. That was quite surprising. And then some of the parents that I teach, just like some of the parents in the just like the UAE, really, the hospitality of Arabic people and Indian people and other types of people over here is really good. Like if you go around to someone's place for dinner or something like this, or certainly during Ramadan when you do this, I think it's called iftar. I think they call it. It's the meal when the sun goes down, stuff like that. Like, man, it's awesome. Like, they really take care of you, and they really look after you. They really care about, like, yeah. Like, so it's been really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I was having this discussion with one of my mates that I work with. I was like, look, just if you went to a house in like Australia, like nobody's like, do you want a glass of water? Like. Like, really, like, is it, like, or do you want something like small to eat, or like a packet of chips or something like that? So, yeah. But I think like, Central Asian and like, Arabic hospitality is like really, really good.
Yeah. I was shocked. I mean, of course, like I said, I haven't been to Qatar, but I was in Jordan. I mean, right, there's a lot of people there who do not speak English whatsoever. And I had complete strangers welcome me into their home, give me tea, feed me, just to spend time with them, right? They were just so incredibly welcoming, so kind to bring me into their homes. And, of course, they had some small kids, so teaching them English. But, yeah, like you said, the hospitality in the Middle East, it's quite impressive as well. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions in the United States. The Middle East is known as a very dangerous part of the world, a spot that you don't want to go to. I am hoping to travel even more of the Middle East. I loved it. We'll have episodes coming up. I got a friend in Israel, another friend in Lebanon that will feature those countries as well. But don't listen to the media when it comes to these countries are super dangerous and, you won't be safe. Just like anywhere else in the world, are there bad parts? Absolutely. But a majority of the people are good people and are welcoming and do want you to come visit. And you'll feel that when you get there.
Yeah. The only thing I'd recommend is like, if you're listening in and you want to go to those STAN countries, 100% go for it. Don't go to Afghanistan just yet. Like I was in the northern Afghanistan, and almost got kidnapped. So like you don't go there just yet. Like but yeah. So that's other than that, like it's an awesome place in the world, and it's got so much, like the architecture is different, the people are very different and stuff like that. So yeah. So it's awesome. It's awesome. So if you want to come out,
I'm excited to get out there. Where was the Ring of Fire? What country was that in?
Oh, this is called the Gateway to Hell. So it's
Gateway to Hell.
It's in Turkmenistan.
And you said get the transit visa if you want to go through that country, correct?
Yeah, like so if you ever want to go to Turkmenistan, if you ever want to go to Turkmenistan, like apparently they often cancel like tourist visas. They don't want for some reason, if you apply for it, they just don't do it. But if
Yeah.
you go, always get the transit visa. The transit visa lasts about 4 to 5 days, and they're more likely to approve something like that. And then once you get there, you'd be surprised. It's Ashgabat, the capital, is they call it the city of whites, I think it is, because all the buildings are made of white marble.
Huh.
In the capital, and then I think it's about an hour north of Ashgabat in the center is the Darwaza gas crater, which is called like the gateway to hell. So that one, that's where if you check out part of my Instagram, you'll see a picture. Oh, hang on, here we go. You'll see a picture of me like standing next to a like some sort of big fire pit or something. So yeah. Like
And it's been going a long time. What is it? It's just natural gas flowing from the ground that caught on fire.
Yeah, I think Russian scientists. I think from what I understand, Russian scientists were digging there about 40 years ago, and the ground caved in, and so it's been set on fire for about 40 years now.
I really want to see it. Your photos are incredibly amazing, guys. If you want more information about traveling the stands, this is a guy to message. You see his Instagram, absolutely reach out. It's always fun running into him around the world. Luke, I think this is it on my end. Any parting words on your end? The stage is yours. Feel free to say whatever.
No, it's all good. Thanks so much. Like it's been great to have you be a part of your live cast, man. And look, we'll meet up for sure soon. Like whether it be in Africa or South America or something. It's probably more likely Africa or Central Asia or something. So
I would love that. No doubt. And worst case, fall back Australia or the United States. But now there's no doubt we'll be bats again. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Very fun to learn about Qatar, one of the countries that I've not been to yet. So the next 24 hours, got some fun episodes coming up. We've got one of my friends who is stuck in Peru. We got an expat that cannot leave a country that she was vacationing in. So in about 12 hours, we'll be going live with her. And then in 24 hours, we'll be going live with one of my good friends from Kosovo, another unique city or a country that many people don't visit. They miss out, and we're going to tell you why you shouldn't tomorrow. So, Luke, thanks again, man. Guys, if you're watching, again, stay at home, stay safe, wash your hands, and let's get rid of this virus so we can get back to normal and start traveling again. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.
No worries. Thanks, buddy. Catch you later, guys. Bye.
And we are live. Get the Facts with Folan, episode 11. Guys, we got a unique one for you today. One of my friends back from TCU, she was traveling just like I was during all the outbreak of the coronavirus. She happened to be in Peru. She's joined it, so let me add her in. But she is officially stranded. The country is on lockdown, and she is unable to leave. Let's see if this works. Connecting? Yes! Look
I was
at
trying
this.
to drink my wine really fast.
All right, Monica, how's it going? Tell everybody your name, where you are, actually where you're from, and where you're stranded.
Okay. Hi, I'm Monica. Now I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm currently in Mancora, Peru.
So walk us through this. What happened? You were on a family vacation.
Yeah, so we got here on the 9th of March. On the 15th, we were staying in a hotel in Cusco, and we get a knock on the door around 10 p.m., and the owner of the hotel gives us this letter that says, hey, as of midnight, we are on lockdown for 15 days. You can't leave anywhere. You can't leave this hotel. Good luck. And so we're freaking out.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on. We can't
Weird letter to get.
Yeah. It turns out, thankfully, that the information was wrong, and we did have 24 hours. So the next morning around 7, we went to the airport in Cusco. We already had existing tickets for the second half of our trip, which was to Mancora. But there were thousands of people in an airport that holds hundreds of people. I mean, it was insane. People had been waiting in line for 4 or 5 hours already. All of their tickets were sold out through April 1st or 2nd. Like, it was just a complete madhouse. So we tried to get a hold of a bunch of airlines. They all said the same thing. We actually got a door slammed in our face by the American Airlines representatives, and they said, we're
Seriously?
not flying until May 6th. Good luck.
What?
And so we just made the executive decision to come here because we thought about trying to fly standby from Lima, but then if we didn't get a flight out, what were we going to do? We had nowhere to stay.
No, exactly.
So
right.
we just
Wow.
came here
And so it was, they